welcome to the space. I am Chewy. I was co-hosting the space, but I'm literally kicked myself down just because spaces are fantastic and they work perfectly, as always, as everyone knows. And we all love spaces, don't we? Yes, we do. No, we don't. So this theme for today is going to be, this week is creator economy. Is it really possible? I'm just going to correct the wording up there as well. Creator economy. Is it really possible? And here we're joined by quite a few people, some familiar faces, some not. So quite excited to hear from everyone as well. And here to hear all your fantastic takes as well. But before we get to that as well, just introduce Soulbound and myself. Soulbound is a gamified social platform. And we have streaming, we're live streaming, and we're empowering streamers to be able to monetize their streams and stuff. And we are empowering content creators. We do have a token that will be announced at some point as well. And at the moment, you can collect Drip. Drip acts as your XP, and your airdrop will be determined by the amount of XP that you collect, which is Drip. So yeah. And I'm Chewy. I have been in Web3 for about 3 years. I've been a gamer since birth, it feels like. I have always gamed. This is going back many, many years. I'm quite older than a lot of you. I was basically second in the world in Donkey Kong. Yes, Donkey Kong. Do you remember that? No, because you're too young. But it was when I was around, I think, 11 years old or something. So I've been a gamer since those days, and became a semi-pro gamer, founded a gaming community of 8,000 gamers, managed esports, and just been gamer. I'm an architect by trade, believe it or not, but I've always enjoyed gaming, and found my way back into gaming by working for gaming clients and also for Soulbound as well. So there you go. So we'll start from the right. Let's move on to Phil. Phil, welcome, as I get other people up as well. Oh, please tell me we're not all having problems talking. Can anyone talk? No, nobody, literally nobody. Oh, because you know why? Because I muted everyone.
There you go. You unmuted us all.
I wouldn't let us unmute ourselves.
Yes, I was trying to figure out a way to DM you.
Oh, God, what a start as well. Yeah, because I was trying to mute myself, but obviously you can't mute co-hosts, right? So,
Chewy.
And there you go. Yeah.
It was Uncle Elon all along, mate. You never touched that button. It's all good.
No,
blame it on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. But let's blame Elon. It's the easiest way.
The deep state's trying to shut us down.
Yeah, 100%. Don't get me started on Elon. Please don't get me started, because that could be a 3-hour session. Tattered, welcome to the space. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm actually a big fan of what you guys are doing as well. But my name is Tatted Lawyer, Michael Satoshi to other people. But I am the founder of the Andromeda, where essentially it's a social gaming platform where we combine immersive mobile gaming, 3D VTube avatar streaming, and peer-to-peer trade within an anime-centric ecosystem. We are also really, really big in the creator economy, empowering people to essentially join the video content creation world through privatized, anonymous 3D avatar streaming. Rather than having their face on camera, they can be their 3D avatar, because in Andromeda, you don't just play as your character, you can become your character. So I'm really, really excited to talk today on today's space, because I think we're very much aligned, and I think it's going to be a good one.
Fantastic. No, thanks for the intro as well, and always good to see lawyers in this space as well to help us out of these things called apparently securities for and shit like that. But yeah, who knows what will happen with that. And again, don't get me started on NFTs being securities, because I think it's an absolute joke. I can't even believe the SEC is even considering it. Not alone.
Well, I'll be honest. There were, in 2021, a lot of projects that I saw that could definitely be securities. It's literally just all about your messaging and how you express it to the public. Anything can be a security. If everybody remembers, the securities framework came from an Orange Grove legal case. So, like, literally anything could be a security. It all depends on how you present it to the public.
No, 100%. But all I can say is that Gary must have some amazing NFTs if they're making him that much profit, and that he's been promised profit and stuff like that, because I want to know the NFTs he's got into so that I can get those ones, because I'm trying to remember if any founders promised me anything other than, like a meme or something. I don't know. But yeah, there you go. Let's go over to you, Phil. How are you?
Very well. Always great to be amongst good company. Pleasure to see everyone here again, and obviously thanks to Soulcast and Chewy yourself for having this awesome event. So I'm Phil Watkins. I'm the founder of Ovi, which is a live streaming and gaming ecosystem. So a live streaming platform very much likened to Twitch. We have our own WebRTC proprietary streaming engine, which is coming to the market very, very shortly, within weeks. So that also accompanies a Unreal Engine Metaverse Web3 interactive launchpad, so fully supportive of Web3 avatars, Unreal, Unity, etc. And yeah, we've also got the framework in place now for our gaming league ecosystem. So essentially looking to bring all of that together to create a more immersive and involving ecosystem for gamers in one location. So yeah, gaming creator economy, obviously very much on our list. And yeah, just looking at the Soulcast website or the platform. Love what you guys are doing, and looking forward to getting into this subject.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Like, I think that, we had SocialFi, we had MemeFi, we had all these other Fis. The next step is probably StreamFi. So, I think it's right narrative, and we definitely should be supporting each other in terms of the StreamFi aspect, because especially with the subject. So I'm really, really keen to hear your views and stuff like that on creator economy and the possibilities within it. So yeah, over to Tropic.
Hello, Tropic, digitally known as Tropic Vibes, I should say. Here, a gamer, content manager, community manager from Jamaica. My claim to fame is selling those NFTs to Gary Gensler. No, I'm just kidding. No, just having a good time here in the space. I consider myself to be a social casual gamer, and just everything that happens in the space is just it started for me as just having fun collecting stuff, reminding me of Pokemon cards when I was a kid. So yeah, just happy to be a part of this. And now I'm community manager at Nineverse, which happens to be a game in Web3. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Fantastic. No, brilliant. And yeah, I hope those Pokemon cards aren't suddenly classified as securities, because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be going back into their attics and, wondering where their life went wrong. But there you go. But yeah, over to Mark.
Morning. Don't mind me. Sorry, I was a little bit late. I was in the middle of cooking my breakfast. But yeah, glad to be here. Mark D Games here, aka King Snooch. So many familiar faces down there in the listeners. Yeah, just here for this conversation because I don't want to go too deep into it, but definitely kind of want to know where you're going with your questions, and kind of I got the feeling that this conversation won't end today. There'll probably be a part 2.
No, absolutely. So it's funny because when I picked the question as well, it was on the back of one of our other spaces as well that you were in, Mark, as well. And, we were starting to try, and I think it was more in depth into trying to understand, what the creator economy was essentially. But yeah, very excited to be talking about this again, or to I suppose the next step. And then also I think there's so many other things that might come out of this that we will be able to talk about as well. So very excited about it. Over to Thrust.
GM, Chewy, and the rest of the panel of speakers. say your choice behind the account. Hope you guys are having a wonderful morning. Here for it, representing Trust Hubs. Trust Hubs is the Web3 discourse alternative, all on chain. So roles on chain, channels on chain, and points on chain where you can curate your community. So we're leveraging the blockchain for monetization and all of the on-chain credentials. And we are uniting the Web3 builders, creators, and fans, allowing the speculators to come and trade, exclusive content to be gated so you can monetize it all. And yeah, you can develop social graphics and understand who your MVPs or real fans are. That's what we're about. And yeah, looking forward to the conversation. And I think that this topic is definitely super interesting. For me, the first quick answer would be a yes, but I'll let you throw the questions.
Fantastic. No, great to have you here as well. And great to see so many builders in the speaker panel today, like yourselves as well. Nunu Spirits, welcome to the stage.
Yeah. Another builder up in here. My name is Gabriel. I'm the founder of Nunu Spirits. We're all about playing fun games and planting trees all over the world. We've planted over 20,000 already, and we're hoping to plant the next 20,000. So if you want to check us out, we'd love to have you. We are all over the socials, but our primary one is Discord. That's where you can actually interact with us and the team and the rest of the community. But we really want to get Nunu Spirits to the point where it's community content driven, and not just creator in terms of streaming and stuff like that, but actual UGC inside of the game. So this topic is definitely near and dear to my heart. Soulcast, always good to be here with you. Thanks for hosting, and I love all the rest of these speakers as well. So I don't want to take up too much time. I think I've been on Spaces with all you guys several times. So they're going to have some awesome words of wisdom today. So buckle up. Let's do this.
100%. Really excited for it as well. And yeah, UGC, that's the hottest thing, I think, as well, in terms of kind of like building.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the ultimate creator value exchange. You know, it's not just, you know, related to the game. It's directly contributing to content inside of the game. And I think there are some really cool places that do that well outside of Web3, but I think Web3 just offers so many tools that makes it better. So let's get into it.
100%. Over to Rami.
GM. Hello, everyone. My name is Rami. I'm the marketing lead of XP Network. XP Network is a multi-chain NFT bridge. We currently support 33 blockchain in mainnet, EVM and non-EVM, and happy to connect. Thank you for having us.
Great to have you here, man. Yeah, absolutely. So, so I suppose the first thing I really wanted to kind of touch on as well, like maybe actually, this is something that we can go over as well. It's just what we talked about before, which was just understanding the creator economy as well. Like, I mean, because one of the key things is obviously the empowerment of individuals to monetize their content, their skills, and also something that we don't. It's funny, it's talked about a lot, but we don't get in depth into, but intellectual property, IP as well. So understanding it as well in terms of how it directly monetizes your content and skills as well. So, and there's lots of facets to actually be able to do that as well and link, where creators can directly earn income from their content, products, or services. But is it actually Web3, or have we just taken it to the next level, taken Fiverr, let's say, to the next level? So who wants to go first with that? Is it just another version of Fiverr, and we're just kind of like taking it to the next level? Nunu Spirits.
So I think it's quite different than Fiverr. Fiverr is basically offering a service in general, or mostly services, and it's in exchange for direct funds. And I think that Web3 is going to allow us to do some pretty crazy stuff in terms of how we interact with and reward or recompensate individuals for creating things of value. And there's one other aspect that I think you missed in the beginning, and that's the just the aspect of referral that creates value for a network. And a lot of that value currently in Web 2 space is siphoned off by other parties that have nothing to do with the ecosystem, whether it's, fees for app stores or ad networks that charge you for pay-per-click, these types of things, data that's being tracked through extremely expensive services like App Annie, for example. There's just so many aspects to this, and I think this is why Snooch was on the money. There's no way we can cover all of this in one go. So I'm going to keep my answers as short as I can so everybody else can weigh in.
No, I absolutely love that. That was a good point as well in terms of, these sort of, can we call them sort of microtransactions here and there, and taking away from
it's
actually
like
the value.
microtransactions on steroids, because they can happen automatically and they can go both ways. And that's one thing that's never happened before in traditional Web 2 gaming. Is you don't often have somebody putting credits in your account. There's a few programs and stuff like that. I know Ark Survival had a really good content creator reward system, and of course you've got your shills and your influencers and KOLs and everything like that, which are technically part of this process, but I think the automation that comes from smart contracts is going to be where this really, really gets strong.
Yeah, no, I totally agree as well. I think that's the aspect I think that really kind of excites me as well, because to an extent where we've been before in terms of kind of these platforms and stuff, is that you do realize at some stage that it's just keeping the platform alive, essentially, rather than the content creators or the artists or something like that, feeding the artist or the content creator, where they have control over it and they're able to, sort of set up their own smart contracts and stuff like that easily. I think that's where the real power is, isn't it? So, yeah. Tattered Lawyer.
Yeah, no, just to piggyback a little bit off what both of you guys are talking about, I also think one of the main things that Web3 can do is kind of expand the creator economy and change some of the various ways, obviously, like we just talked about, how you can monetize. And what I mean by that is essentially, so for example, how we're going about it is we're creating a VTubing platform that allows you to actually stream as 3D models rather than as yourself. And essentially, we're trying to unlock the idea behind private, anonymous video content creation. So, like the millions upon millions of introverts in the world that watch videos every day that want to participate in the creator economy but are too shy, protect their privacy, or their children that their parents don't want their faces on camera, or let's say they're professionals who don't want to risk their reputations, they're on the sideline right now. So being able to bring them into the space this way by allowing this anonymous content creation is going to be huge. And then the next part about this is how we're doing it is we're if you're a content creator and you own like one of the underlying collectibles, you can sell variants of your collectibles. So essentially it's like you can create your own creator army where people are using variants of your 3D model and kind of creating your own like streaming community where you can create smart contracts that let's say if they're monetizing kind of off your likeness because they're using a similar model, you can create agreements where you're taking some of their profits, and all of it is done through smart contracts. So it's kind of like, I'm going to use Kai Cenat as an example, very big streamer of the world right now. Imagine if I could buy a variant of Kai Cenat and kind of stream somewhat like Kai Cenat, and I'm obviously making profit off of his likeness. Kai Cenat now gets a certain percentage of the profits I make because I'm using his likeness or I'm using his kind of reputation, but it's okay because everybody in this monetization model is winning. So I just feel as if there's so many various new ways to monetize and also bring more people into the creator economy that are just at the beginning point, so the nascent stages of being explored.
I really loved what you said as well, just in terms of like you spoke about kind of like the anonymous side, because I'm actually suffered a dilemma about a month ago where my son, he's only 9 years old, and he started talking about wanting a YouTube channel. And I personally, as a father, feel he's too young to have a YouTube channel. But once I started seeing the videos that he was producing and stuff, I kind of like thought, wow, I think people would actually really enjoy the content that he's creating. So, so at some point I started looking at AI and seeing maybe doing him an avatar and then hiding his voice a bit, and, taught him how to type into kind of like this chat thing where it will produce the voice and stuff. And he got really interested in that as well. And to me, AI is Web3. So basically, it's a very Web3 way of kind of like producing content, staying somewhat anonymous, obviously, and then, setting up a YouTube channel as well.
I completely agree with that. And just to let you know, in this V2ing platform, we do have a built-in voice changer for that exact reason. So like you're literally becoming the character and taking a step outside of your IRL self. So I completely agree with that.
There's actually a voice changer directly in Spaces. Has anyone ever tried it? Or is it really bad?
It's not great.
It's not great. Let's give a quick demo. Here's a quick.
So,
right. This is, how do I do this? Change how your audience hears you by selecting voice transformation. Right. What about this? Can you guys hear me okay? No? Is it changing my voice?
You're loud and clear.
Is it changing my voice?
Chewy,
Yes.
Chewy. If you've just gone to the toilet, mate, and this is your excuse, it's perfectly good. It's fine.
Is it? Okay. So this is, so I can't hear it.
It sounds like
Got his head in a bowl.
It sounds like I'm in a bowl. Okay. So I've turned into a fish. What about?
But it's still your voice though. This one's different. Now you're a demon.
Yeah, this is off that movie where the guy has to saw his leg off, isn't it? I think.
It sounds like the teachers in the Charlie Brown shows. The womp 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 womp.
Oh boy. Okay. So voice changing. I love it. Absolutely love it. Over to you, Phil.
Well, I've definitely learned something new tonight. I had no idea that those voice features were available, but yeah, thanks, mate. So obviously, I think in Web3 we have a huge opportunity to do this completely differently, right? So as pioneers, as builders, we have the opportunity to build sustainable platforms and create those more sustainable economies. So for us, it's really imperative from a streaming side of the platform that we had it as efficient and cost effective as possible. Therefore, we could give rewards and appropriate rev shares back to the content creators, because ultimately they're the ones that are doing the work, etc., and they need to get the required rewards that they should have. So there's also another element to the creator economy, which is, of course, lowering the barrier and providing the tools for the content creators themselves. So, we also have done away with OBS. So you don't need to stream with OBS on our platform. Now, this is critically important because to go from 0 to streaming, you could do it within 5 clicks. And it also reduces the amount of hardware CPU power that you need. So it's this is obviously lowering the barrier, but then it's also opening up the available addressable market for content creators to get in at a lower entry level. So it's there's multiple pillars to the problem, I guess, of really building up the creator economy. But I think within Web3, without going on too long, we have the availability to do it right, to do it in a sustainable manner, drive the rewards from the very infrastructure as well back to the content creators, and really open up the economy itself.
100%. Yeah. I mean, if anyone's ever played with OBS as well, especially with the sound aspect, oh my God, it can be a pain in the ass. But yeah, so making life a little bit easier, fewer clicks, I totally agree as well. Do you feel that do you think it's the same kind of like revenue streams that exist in Web 2 as in Web 3? Or do you feel that Web 3 has more diverse revenue streams?
Thank you for this, because I was fucking starving.
Phil.
Yeah, I think it's honestly all of the same, but we have the ability to include more now. And include additional revenue streams to expand on additional revenue streams and create new revenue streams. Essentially, it's our opportunity, just as Tatid was describing, additional and new evolving features and functions to then basically bring new revenue streams as well. So I think that whole option or idea behind IP franchising or 3D assets, I think that's gold, to be honest with you. I think that's awesome. So
No, absolutely. Tropic.
Yeah, I think very interesting points, especially what Tatted was saying. That's very interesting to me because I came into the space, like as I said, just collecting and having some fun. And one of the first things that I started to collect, at least when I came over to Ethereum, because I couldn't stomach gas fees during that time, and that was like the third or fourth chain I came to, was these 3D NFTs, which I thought were like the coolest things ever, and I just started collecting them. And the whole thing I was thinking was I was going to create characters and stories based upon how these guys looked, and I was going to create a whole world of them and everything. And I still haven't done that yet, mainly because of the technical lift of doing something they call VTubing. I didn't even know it was called VTubing at the time, but I had this idea of bringing these characters to life and doing all of this stuff and creating this stuff. So I said all this to say this. I found out a lot of stuff after I came into this space. And yes, I would say it's the same revenue models and everything that was there before. It's just that we have the tools to do it now. And it allows an independent creator such as myself as a one-man army to be able to put all these things together and then create these things and monetize it, whether it is on the gaming side and playing and streaming and then getting funded through blockchains or even Telegram with Tan. There's like so many tools that are at our disposal. But I learned about a transmedia company, which is just basically, it doesn't matter what the medium is. If you have the characters, the IP, you can put it on anything. And going back to the roots, Pokemon, right? Start off as a card game, TV show, video game, movies. It doesn't matter what you put the characters and the IP on. There's a way to increase the fandom and people care about it. They'll literally spend their money on lunchboxes or whatever it might be. It just happens to be the canvas. So I look at Web3 and the blockchain and NFTs and video games and all this stuff as just different canvases that we're putting the same art on. And as a creator, I think it's just just another palette that we can use. And I don't think it's necessarily completely changing the game. It just gives us a little bit more leverage as an independent creator. And I think that's one of the cool things that this whole space allows us to do, really. So yeah, I'll just land the plane there. I have fun. And as a creator, if it's not enjoyable, honestly, I just don't want to do it. Like, I didn't decide to come into the space to be miserable and look at charts all day. And I like making things, and I think all the tools are here to do it.
No, I think that's a really important aspect. You made some really important points. One is just the fun aspect, but the other thing is kind of like the tools and the enabling as well, because I think that's one of the key things as well is, literally the creator economy, the monetization allows us to be able to explore these things as well. Like I think before we would all have loved to have done certain things, but what's great in Web3 is that, people are willing to pay for it as well. And a lot of it leads back to kind of like Web3 companies trying to expand their growth and their engagement and stuff like that. But I would say that before Web3, it would have been very difficult to go up to, a company and say, I create memes for a living. Can I get paid, $150,000 a year? It never would have happened. Actually, I think 10 years ago, somebody would have laughed at you. Whereas, the joke's on them now. But there you go. Over to Thrust.
Thanks, Chewy. So just some thoughts in my head. Loving the take so far. Been sitting back and listening and learning a lot. But one thing that I've been thinking of is how the big companies that are already settled, Web2, let's talk YouTube or, Google or Meta with Facebook or TikTok, these companies and how they are most of the times taking pretty much all of the revenue that they get from the deals and marketing campaigns and such, right? And yet we see people that is able to monetize it on a crazy way. Like we see people on developing countries becoming rich just by creating content that resonates with people and that brings eyes. Now, what I love is that with Web3, we're improving the tech and we are empowering perhaps a decentralized project that will come and say, you know, people will be able to still monetize, but they will monetize in the right way. It's not just going to be a single big corporate taking like more than 90% of the profits and giving that 5% back, but they can actually give a lot more. So for me, it becomes to, revolutionizing the world through wealth distribution and on a more transparent way, because you don't know how much YouTube is making out of the advertisement that goes through your videos that you upload in the platform, right? You only know the small share that you get, and if you trust on what they are actually shooting at you, right? You don't have much ways to double check if they are paying you the right amount or not. They're supposed to be doing so, but we know that big corporates are always going to win. Like, I mean, if they're paying you, it's because they are making 10 times more than what you're actually making. And that for me, it's like that lack of transparency that happens within the corporate world of Web 2. And I think that with Web 3, we're bringing the technology to change that and empower more the creators to the level what they deserve so that they will get the right share and not just the small crumbles that they're currently getting that are already life changing, but that if we distribute them on the right way can empower not just a few, but masses.
100%. And I think we saw that a lot, even unfold in Web3 as well when OpenSea tried to change the fees and stuff like that. They tried to put like zero back to 0% and stuff like that. And collections were able to kind of like navigate that. I remember actually the Plague NFTs, they literally wrote a new contract and transferred everyone's NFTs to, that you had to burn your NFT, I think, and then it went on to the new contract or something like that. But, it still empowers the community to be able to make decisions regardless of bigger corporations trying to impose things as well. So I think that's a very, very strong kind of like aspect. Something that you would find very difficult. I mean, it's not like you can go on to kind of like YouTube and say, I don't like this revenue stream. I want a different one and change that. Whereas in Web3, it's very possible to do. Love that take. I think it was Morris next. Oh, we can't hear you, Morris. Are you speaking?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh my gosh, X is still fucked out. Jesus. I'm literally, again, muted on this side, and now I'm able to speak. Bro, I've been eating nuts and fruit this entire time. Probably guys are hearing the maddest shit coming from my mic, man.
Oh, no, we couldn't hear you. I think you were muted.
Okay.
Yeah. Good.
No,
yeah.
I was definitely unmuted.
Oh.
But yeah, no, it's all good. What was the question, please? Because I joined a little late.
Oh, so, we're talking about creator economy and whether it's really possible. We started touching on specifically just in terms of diverse revenue streams and how basically possibly Web3 is a better system because you can, if you don't like, let's say like YouTube, right? YouTube has one revenue stream, one revenue system, let's say. If you don't like it, tough, Whereas Web3, you might be able to have a bit more choice because you can write your own smart contracts and actually dictate directly what you want to achieve from that smart contract.
Okay. Definitely feel like the creator economy is freaking booming right now on Twitter, mainly because Spaces, man. Spaces has been huge. If you're on Instagram, it's mainly Reels, right? If you're on TikTok, videos. If you're like Tatted Lawyer, and you're a big guy, you're bolo, you can have all the girls in your comment section. If you go to this guy's Twitter account, I'm telling you now, if you got a girl, it's a wrap. This guy, bruh.
Oh boy.
I saw his pinned tweet, I saw his pinned post, and I was like, yo, this guy's in Web3? The fuck? But no, seriously, on TikTok, it's videos like that. Videos that can go viral, all that kind of stuff. So the creator economy is different for everyone in different sectors. On Twitter, definitely creator economies and Spaces, or one of the creator economies and Spaces. I guess we're getting live streaming now as well, which is going to kick in. But Spaces is definitely one, man. Like, okay, I'll give you an example. So I've heard Chewy on Spaces long before he was doing spaces like this, and they were doing spaces every single day. And I don't actually know how long it ran for, but I would say it was over a solid year and a half-ish. And he showed up every single day, was able to build a brand there and continue and, use that to catapult. So spaces is definitely something that's booming for the creator economy. And I would say there's another brand that's doing it right now, that's helping people do it right now, and we use them. X-Cohost. X-Cohost is responsible for so many spaces now, especially in gaming, where we can't play or live stream, we can talk about it and keep it alive. So X-Cohost is definitely helping people with that, and they made an announcement the other day. Caden was talking about how they've got this model, phase 1, the creator program will be announced next week. And then they retweeted and said, okay, cool, it's going to be September 2nd. So literally from Monday, we're probably going to get an announcement on how people can create another revenue stream using spaces. And I know they've got a pilot program going on right now, and there's some people killing it as well. So to whoever's in the pilot program, congratulations, because you are proof that there is now another way to earn a revenue stream from spaces. We don't just have to build a brand. We can build a brand, but also earn money directly from spaces itself, which is absolutely incredible. Really, really good model.
100%.
And then lastly as well, for creators, the economy, to keep the economy growing is such a great way to meet other creators. Like yesterday, I met Tatted Lawyer for the first time in spaces, found out about Andromeda, and I'm thinking, yo, this is definitely a creator I want to follow. I like how he speaks. I like how he rolls. He articulates himself very, very well. He's into gaming and he's into gym. I'm like, yeah, that's dope. I'm like all for that. Really would be a great guy to follow. First time I met Mark. Mark has been a wicked person in this space. King Snooch was one of the early supporters when I was doing spaces, and being able to connect with him and seeing how he tweets, how he moves, and then seeing all the success he's had as well. Again, it's great for building our economy that way. We're able to build forward, but we're also able to build wide as well by building our network. So yeah, I think the creator economy is growing very, very, very rapid. It's growing so fast, and Twitter Spaces is a big part of that, man. It's massive.
I actually love what you said as well. Not because you mentioned me, of course, but just in terms of spaces overall, because I think a lot of people sometimes forget as well. Like I think, people think of content and they think of something like a picture, an image, or, something that's kind of like a physical in terms of viewing it. But spaces, yeah, I mean, spaces is content. Podcasting is content. Spotify makes, all their money from podcasts and music and streams and stuff like that. So it is a very big factor as well. And what's interesting is that a lot of people on X, to be quite frank as well, like these people that kind of go, oh, I just got paid by X and blah, blah, blah and stuff like that. It's literally peanuts. It's absolute peanuts compared to what you could be doing if you actually get out there, start doing spaces and start hosting. And you drew on one of the things as well. So I've been co-hosting spaces for clients and brands for 3 years now. And, it enabled me to actually work permanently, full time in Web3. So it is, in terms of content and that kind of drive as well, it is actually, probably one of the, a really good model in terms of that as well.
Word. Well, I first and foremost, I do want to respond to this question. I just have to say, Maurice, I think we're quickly becoming best friends. I know it's only been about 24 hours, but I do sincerely feel that way. So I got married last year. I'm now second guessing my best man pick for the wedding. I might have picked the wrong guy, but
listen, man, I'm here, bro. I'm here, man. All good, bro. I'll do pull-ups all the way there, bro.
I love it. I do want to comment on one thing that Tropic said earlier about VTubing. You're 100% right. It is the most surprisingly expensive thing in the world to get started doing. I tried to start myself back in 2020, until I got an invoice from the person who's going to model and rig my model for me. That was about $1,800. And then I still had to buy the Magic Leap on top of that, which was at the time like literally $2,400. So I was like, I think I can just have my face on camera. But that's kind of like one of the reasons that we're building the platform, because it's turnkey. But what I wanted to really talk about in this response is the possibilities of what you can do now with Web3 and with brands, because obviously I'm sure you guys are aware, a lot of streamers are sponsored by brands. They get a lot of money through brand sponsorships and things like that. Imagine though a world where, let's say you're VTubing as your character, and you're an actual game streamer, and you're playing with the same character in game that you're streaming with. So you literally become your character, and somebody buys a shoe from you, and that shoe is obviously branded by one of your sponsors. So now not only does your character have the shoe, you have the actual shoe yourself, because somebody just gifted it to you from your sponsor, or someone bought it for themselves. But there's so many different things that we can do, kind of connecting the real world assets or real world products like physical merchandise to NFTs, and essentially having your digital self mirror your IRL self in some way, shape, or form. But the possibilities kind of become endless there. That's what I'm really, really excited about, this like all these new avenues of monetization, and all these kind of like reimagining of current market trends. Because for a long time, as Maurice had mentioned on my TikTok, I was getting paid by a ton of brands to market. My biggest audience was women between the ages of 20 and 55. It was literally like 86% of my following. But it was great because obviously that's the biggest consumer buying class for brands. So I would get a bunch of stuff, Now imagine if I was streaming as my 3D model, and people could literally just buy these things as NFTs, and then it shows up at their door. And also, like, on stream, I can put on whatever they bought me as an NFT on my model. Like, there's so many cool and imaginative ways that we can grow the creator economy with Web3. And I'm just really, really excited to explore them all.
No, 100%. I think that's one of the keys as well. Is kind of like there is actually a project out there as well, like Kid Called Beast, that if you own the NFTs, you can actually get the 3D files. The cool thing they do as well is they regularly have, I think twice a week actually, sort of like tutorials on their Discord, where they teach people how to use the 3D models in creative ways, whether that's to create stills or short videos and things like that. So, and to me, that is incredibly Web3 as well. Like, and in terms of a utility, it's kind of really cool in that aspect as well, because it's kind of creating an army of engagement and because obviously people are going to attend these things, they're going to use their beast to do the videos, and then they're going to post it on Twitter and stuff like that. So it's kind of like a really cool way to kind of like teach, using education to then translate into UGC, which potentially can then mean that they will get, opportunities down the road as well into producing other stuff as well. So it's quite a really cool model. Over to, I can't remember who was first, but let's go for Tropic first.
All right. Hopefully
Yes.
you guys can hear
Yes,
me now.
we
Can you hear me?
now. Yeah.
Awesome. Had to drop down, had to leave the room and everything. It was wild. But yeah, I'll definitely have to check out that platform that Tatted was speaking about, because that really got me interested in going forward. But what I will say, what I was trying to say earlier before he spoke was, it brings me back to the early 2000s when I was in high school. That's when LimeWire was ruling the world. And obviously as young people, there's no way around it. We're stealing music from artists, right? At that time, we had a very different perspective of what we were doing. We're like, yeah, we're just getting the coolest things. We wouldn't be buying this stuff anyway. So we used all sorts of things to justify it. And I remember we're in English class one time, and we're like, well, how are artists supposed to continue their creative work if nobody's paying for what they're doing? And I came up with this whole thesis, which actually played out to be true. I was like, look, if I was an artist, I just want my music in as many, and again, I'm not justifying it. I'm like 100% saying what we're doing was 100% wrong. Stealing music is terrible, and yeah, pay for your music. But The thesis was I wanted my music in every single person's eardrums. And the more people that cared about what I was creating, I would figure out how to monetize it on the back end. And I would say the artist that did this the best during that era was like Lil Wayne. He was just everywhere. He was giving away his mixtapes. He was just putting out songs left and right. And it got to the point where he could put his name on any brand, on anything, on just literally any feature. And he was making money left and right. He figured out how to monetize it. And I was like, look, that's exactly what I was trying to say. I just didn't know how to do it because I'm not, a musician. But the same thing goes through when I came into Web3. Everyone kept asking me, even when the price of things were going down ridiculously, they were saying, why are you still buying NFTs, especially those 3D ones? Like, the market's dead. And I was like, I don't believe the value is in the reselling of it. I think I'm creative enough to use these things to tell stories that people will care about. So that's why I kept collecting right through. And I always look at an NFT in a way that I can tell a story about, and that's why I buy it for the most part, right? So like those 3D ones, I'm crazy. I give them names. I write a backstory for them and all sorts of things. And I say, all right, this is how I'm going to monetize this one. It's not depending on selling it. So when it comes to like Web3, game creating and streaming and all these things, people that are like getting ad dollars, whether it's on X or on YouTube, that literally is peanuts. I don't know who said that earlier, but it is peanuts. And you look at Mr. Beast, when you offer him $1 billion for his YouTube channel, it's like, no, I can monetize it and make more money than selling it. And he's not depending on ads and all these different things. If you get people to actually give up their hard, precious time, if you will, that's the hardest thing, to give you attention, like you can figure out ways to monetize it. And I think that's what's beautiful about Web3. And
Are we losing him again? Oh, we've lost you, Tropic.
Yep.
No.
And the plain hair is is cool because it gives us so much like leverage to just get people to care about what we're doing.
I think I just about caught the end of that. Yeah, no, 100%.
See, this is why guys get in trouble. We're 100% focused, yet we miss out on some of the conversation.
Yeah.
Tropic. We caught most of that, but no, totally agree with you as well. I think there's something that always kind of like got me before as well. So like, bear with me with this one. So I am an architect by trade as well, and actually the reason why I did architecture was for the creative element and stuff like that. I navigated into Web3 because I felt like I was spending more time managing, people's sort of like planning applications than I was sort of like doing kind of like the creative part as well. Do you feel that a lot of people kind of keep going, oh, we're early kind of thing. Like, do you still feel it's early? Or do we think that it's moved on? And we've got about 5 minutes left of the space as well. So what I want to do is kind of like a hot take, very short, round the table, very quickly. And then at the end of that, I'm going to give you guys a word that you can use on the platform to earn some drip as well. But I'll talk about that in a bit. So let's go Tattered Lawyer first. Go.
Yes, I will absolutely say I still think we're very early. Most people still don't really understand NFTs. I think it's kind of like we're in the Mt. Gox period of NFTs from like the entire crypto perspective, which if anybody, is familiar with that, that's around 2014. So we still have a ways to go for like the general public to really understand NFTs and what they're used for. Obviously, attacks from Gary Gensler doesn't help. But as soon as people start to see like, oh, NFTs are like not what they think they are in terms of like just really, really expensive JPEGs, I do think we'll start to see more adoption. So I definitely think we're early, and I think everybody everybody who's speaking here on this chat is working to move the industry forward. So I really, really love joining each and every one of you, and I hope to be able to speak alongside you again very, very soon.
Love that. Absolutely love that. No, absolutely. So I do. It's funny because maybe we're so early that Gary doesn't really understand NFTs, and that's why he's doing what he's doing. So maybe you're right there. But over to Summit.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
Oh, finally. Oh, great, guys. So I would like brief everything. I had like a lot of points and a lot of builders out here, and like I was just listening through on those part of time. So there was like interesting experiments, like how people were actually marrying this new creator tools with new crypto primitives on those. And this is basically the most beautiful part about Web3, right? So what it enables is basically in Web2, there is a huge mismatch between like the people who are actually creating the value to the people who are actually sitting behind the tables, right? So YouTube platform, like if you see the way it incentivizes creator and the way the incentives of those creators works, there is like the whole difference, right? So creators like take brand deals and other things, they don't usually earn from the fees that the YouTube platform actually gives them on that part of thing. So to represent this new incentives that creators actually wants to work, Web3 actually enables on those side of things. Now coming back to like sold bonds, like as you have mentioned, right? I firmly believe like we are like still early, right? If you can see like if I just go by the market cap, Bitcoin and everything is still early. Like it's just 1 trillion. The world has lot more of wealth right now, and even if you see like the generation is shifting and our technology is increasing, so new generation which would be coming would be basically onboarded to these new technologies on those side of things. So I particularly believe like we are kind of early, but what I also believe is that the NFTs are going to stay and they're going to grow. It's just that the stories and narratives around the NFTs would change, right? Previously, it was like community and all of those things, but right now what we are seeing is like NFTs are becoming more like nodes. So it's like node sales are happening a lot in this environment and all of those parts. So it was like ICO wave, then it was like a DeFi wave, then it was like an NFT wave. But right now NFT is only evolving, but it is evolving to a node wave. So that's like what my key take is.
I love that. No, absolutely. I totally agree with you as well, because when people started going, NFTs are coming back, I was shouting, what's the new narrative? And nobody could answer. So there you go. But yeah, so I agree. I think the narrative will change. And until someone kind of like discovers that and projects it out, I think, you know, where we'll have to slowly kind of muster up kind of like a little bit of traction before that happens. But there you go. Phil.
Yeah, 100%. Completely agree. I think where NFTs are concerned, still early. I think we've only just really seen the first wave, you know, on the development cycle for NFTs itself. Personally, feeling from the Ovi platform perspective, tokenization of benefits, that's what NFTs are going to unlock. And then the next phase for us, because we've built these 3D avatars, essentially with interchangeable traits, linking those interchangeable traits through to in real life benefit. I think that's where we're going to really start to truly unlock and democratize the content creator economy and provide that true utility. So obviously, you know, any creators can create their own assets to go on their own 3D avatars, be represented by their own NFTs and link through to in real life benefits. So that's one aspect that we're working on. And obviously, yeah, great space. We'll definitely obviously come back and yeah, love what all you guys are doing out there and giving each one of you a follow.
100%. And yeah, please do come back. We do have our show next week as well. And we'll be touching on some important subjects there as well. So feel free to kind of like to join. Someone, I can't remember who mentioned X co-host before, but we are, yeah, we love using it. It's a fantastic platform. It has enabled a lot of great connections and networking. And as everyone knows, your network is your net worth, which is very important. And I feel that X co-host is a massive enabler of that as well. So kudos to them. Absolutely love the team. Tropic, over to you.
Yeah, just a quick take. 100%. I think we're still early. I thought that was the case because I was in Jamaica and I don't know anyone offline that knows anything what I'm talking about, really, for the most part. But when I went to New York, visited all my friends I went to high school with, and they had no clue what I was talking about either. So I was like, yep, we're definitely early. And on that regards, I would say how early, you know, people are saying, what does that exactly mean? Well, if you're old enough to remember the .com crash when they thought the internet was crashed, and like online e-commerce and all that stuff was dead, just go look at Amazon's stock chart and just zoom all the way out and see if you can find the .com crash. You can't find it. Like it's that small, the so-called death of the internet. And I think that's where we are with Web3 right now with NFTs in
That's
particular.
so true as well. And yeah, like if you're as old as me, you kind of even remember the birth of the internet. And when I was telling everyone it was going to revolutionize their lives as a young kid, and nobody believed me. And then one day, a couple of friends came over, and I enabled them to talk to somebody across the planet, and they were absolutely blown away to the point now that it's kind of like second nature to us. I mean, Web3, the internet and stuff like that has enabled us to be able to work remotely. Soulbound, I think we literally cover the globe. We've got more than 25 staff, and we're literally, I think, all in different countries. It's that enabling aspect has been, in those days, I don't think anyone would have foreseen that as well. So it's quite impressive. Maurice.
Yeah, a lot of it was breaking up for me, so I didn't really hear the question.
Sorry. Yeah, the question is, are we early? To put it very basically.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely early. Like this crypto only came out like 10 years ago. So, or maybe just a bit more than that. But yeah, we're definitely early, man. Well, we're only like 14 or 15 years into this thing. There is people using spaces and stuff in terms of the creator economy only recently. People are still getting their heads around it. Places, something like co-host has only existed for a small amount of time in a grand scheme of things. Yeah, we're definitely early, and like 100% early. But to be honest, I don't really think it matters how early we are, man. It matters about what you do with the time. There's going to be people that will come, find out about this thing in 10 years when it's like fully cooked, and they will overtake people that have been here since today. So I don't think it matters about how early we are. It just matters about what you do with the time and staying consistent and building
100%.
Every single day, showing up all the time. And, not wasting your time, not just being busy. But definitely agree, we are 100% early.
So I think everyone has actually agreed that we're very early already. So I think let's see what Numa Spirit says as well. So as a final comment.
I think it's all been said. I know we're over time already, and you got some things you want to talk about. So I agree 100%. We are early. I think that digital assets and the value of them comes from the utility. And I think that we've seen several phases of utility spike and wane and ebb and flow and all of that. But I think that the more digital our lives become, the more important it's going to be for us to have secure ways of trading value in digital environments. So
no, 100%.
I'll leave it at that.
100%. I need to find questions that are more triggering so that we have, sort of like yay and nays.
All you have to do is talk about AI around me, and I'll go off.
Absolutely. Well, we have had some AI conversations previously as well, so maybe we can bring some of that back as well. Because I'm massive.
People just invite me in because I'm pretty bearish on.
Oh, are you? Okay, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, I'll be totally up for a discussion about that because I was involved in AI before I was involved in Web3, so I'll be very keen to hear your views on it as well. But yeah. Like I said, I need to find a topic that we can have some debate on and for next week as well. But until then, we have a code that you can use on Soulbound. So on Soulbound, we have some quests, and one of those quests is about our space today. You can go and you can put the code in and you can earn some drip points. And as we said before, drip points are like your XP that you gain, and so they never go away. And how much XP you get will determine your airdrop as well when we announce our TGE. So that word is, I'm just going to check, just make sure I get it correct, is content is king. Content is king. What's the chances of that? So there you go. Content is king. Put that in, all lowercase, and you will get your drip points. But just want to say a massive thank you to everyone that attended today, especially to our speakers as well, for their amazing takes, probably the best takes in spaces, literally the best takes in spaces. You can tell any other host that. I will sign, declaration on it. But yeah, until next week, have a great rest of the week as well. And we'll see you guys next week. Take care.